Hi everyone, I'm here today with The Landing, Gallipoli 1915, a solitaire game about landing in Gallipoli, which is modern-day Turkey today, during the First World War. It's by Joe Schmidt and Catastrophe Games. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's September 24th. So we're going to take a look at how to play the game, and then we'll do a short review of the game afterward. I have the pleasure of knowing the owner of Catastrophe, and he's done some work for Academy Games in the past, so I'm excited to see what he puts out coming up. But this is their first game. It's on Kickstarter right now. Today is September 24th, and we're going to take a look at how to play the game real quick, and then I'll give you my feelings on what I think about the game, because I've gotten to play it a couple times now. I will say that the rules that I had needed a little bit of improvement. From what I hear, they're improving those right now as we speak before they get ready to actually publish the game. It has successfully funded, but let's go ahead and take a look at how to play the game. All right, so first of all, The Landing tells the story of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, the ANZAC. So we have the ANZAC operations here, and you're going to shuffle that. But before you do that, to start the game, we're going to take the Indian Artillery card and remove it. So here's our ANZAC operations. We have our Ottoman operations, what we call Turkey today. Over 3 rounds, you're going to push your soldiers across the battlefield, represented by the 6 terrain cards. They'll start face down. I didn't do left to right so we could fit them all in frame here, but normally you'd set up your boat and then your beach, and then your terrain cards face down that you've shuffled, and then you set the rest of the terrain cards that you don't use out of the game. So those are face down. You put the Ottoman sergeant there on the last terrain card. So I'm going this way, left to right, and then top, left to right. You have your Ottoman sergeant down here with his marker on the 3 stress. And then the Australian 11th Battalion, Lance Corporal on the 3 stress, and then his chit goes on the boat card. And then you're going to take the 4 Australian units, and you're going to shake them up. I already did that, and I got 2 that were stressed and 2 that were normal, and they're on the boat like that. And they're going to go there. We have the beach here. We don't use the Auckland Battalion from New Zealand yet. They go here after we've also shaken them up. So I have 2 that are normal, 1 stressed. And then you take the ANZAC Cove that shows your 3 rounds, and you place a marker on the Dawn. So there's 2 characters, you, representing the Lance Corporal, and the Ottoman Sergeant that's on that last card over there. You have your 4 Australian card counters, your 3 New Zealand counters or chits, and the 7 Ottoman counters. The 7 Ottoman counters are going to come as we flip terrain up. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you're going to want a paper and pencil for the journal phase. What's interesting about this game is that you're encouraged to journal and place yourselves in the place of the World War I people who went through this battle, and think about what they might have experienced, what they might have been thinking. Imagine yourself diarying or sending a letter home or things like that. I like that aspect. It was creative, although not necessary for the gameplay. So you set up the terrain with the boats, the beach, your 6 terrain, removing their extra terrain, and you put a spirit marker on the 3 space of each of the Ottoman Sergeant and the Lance Corporal card. That's most of the setup. After you do that, like I said before, the game consists of 3 rounds: dawn, noon, and dusk. We can see that down here: dawn, noon, and dusk. Before starting the noon round, you're going to add the counters from the Auckland Battalion to the beach card here, and that's shown up in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to add the Indian Artillery back into the ANZAC operations deck, this one, because you're going to shuffle this deck each time. At the start of each round, you're going to shuffle your cards, including the Ottoman operation cards. Each round has 4 turns, and each turn has 4 phases. The order of the phases is ANZAC phase, Ottoman phase, close combat phase, and journal phase. The game ends at the end of the dusk round. So after you've completed those 4 phases, basically 12 turns for everything here, the game's over. Hopefully you've defeated the Ottomans on the last terrain. You're trying to have at least 1 ANZAC or the Lance Corporal counter on the last terrain card with no Ottoman or Sergeant there. If you do that, then you win the game. I've played this a couple times, and I found that it's about medium difficulty. It's pretty fun. It's easy to learn, easy to play. So when you advance, it's going to go like this. You're going to play one of your operations cards. So you're going to start with 4 in your hand. So let's say I have these 4. 1 second. So I have fear, bayonets, and another fear. I'm going to have to play both of these fear. When I do that, it's just going to proceed to the next phase, and then I put that in my discard pile. So if I play that fear, then it would be the Ottoman's phase. They also have you're going to reveal the top card, so they have their own deck. Rifle fire, it says roll 1 die plus 1 extra die per active Ottoman token. So here it'd just be 1 die because there's no active Ottoman yet. Each results of +4 deals 1 stress to the Lance Corporal. So we'll go ahead and roll that, see what we would get there. Nothing. Okay, nothing happens. So we discard that. In the case of the Ottoman operations, if you get the 1 fear card in here, it's going to go out of the game. For the ANZAC, it just goes back in the deck. It's something that it's a deck filler that gets in the way of you playing the cards that you want to play. But let's say my next... Okay, so the Ottoman phase, we had our ANZAC phase, we had our Ottoman phase, and then close combat only occurs when both sides have counters on the same terrain. Both sides roll a die for each counter. On a greater than 5, the counter inflicts a hit on the other side, and that's it. This phase can end with 1 on both sides eliminated. And the most dice that can be used for this phase is 3 dice. So that's why there's only 3 dice in the game. They're there. Okay. And then you get to journal. And then we go back to the beginning. Additional rules you should know about is you choose whether a soldier or the Lance Corporal receives the hit. Hits must be taken on the Lance Corporal or the ANZAC soldiers closest to the front line. So if they are engaged here, let's say, in fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Because once you advance, and we'll talk about advancement in a second, whenever you advance, you're going to take that, and these kind of look brown on the cards, but I've been told that's fixed, because you're going to take, not the New Zealand, but you're going to take 1 Ottoman force and place it there, because there is a red square in the top right corner. Whatever those squares are as they are revealed, that's how many Ottoman forces are going to be on that. So let's say you have forces that are here and here. For some reason, this Ottoman force isn't defeated yet. You're always going to have to deal with these forces because they're in the front line first. Okay, a steady ANZAC counter who receives a hit becomes unnerved. That's the stressed here. An unnerved ANZAC counter who receives a hit is removed from the game. So we would take that out. Characters which get hit, the Lance Corporal or the Sergeant reduce the character's stress or spirit down here. And then when they lose all of that, the character is removed from the game. You can't add any back by a rally action here. And we'll talk about rally actions in a second. When turning over a new terrain card, add Ottoman counters for each red cube shown on the card. We already talked about that. Add all remaining Ottoman counters and Ottoman Sergeant to the 6th terrain card. So when you get here, if you have any that haven't been used for some reason, which is possible, in fact, we'll just flip these over because I saw these as I put them down because I just wanted to set up. If you got to the end terrain and you haven't used all these yet, which is this one, then when you get here, you're automatically, no matter what, even if it doesn't say it, you're going to add all of those counters there so that you're facing that final force. Okay. Things to remember. Here are the actions that you can choose on your turn. You can advance. Roll a die. So there's no number here. This one has a advance cost of 0. So you get to roll. So I would get to move up to 6 units over here. So I can move all my units to the beach. And that guy stays that way. And remember, this is a prototype. So there'll be nicer counters in the final finished one. But you can advance to the next card -1. So since I rolled a 6, I could have moved 5. I can move 5. A 0 or negative result does not move any counters. If you're attempting to advance into a card that hasn't revealed yet, you have to commit at least 1 counter, reveal the card, and then roll the die. So let's say this one hadn't been revealed yet. And I'm going to say that I'm going to advance. I would roll my die. and that would mean that I wouldn't get to move any on. But I would say that I wanted to move at least that one, but I'm not going to get, because there's this. 2 minus 1, that means I could only move 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2, I can move -1, so my one guy can't move. Again, during your turn, you're going to have to use all 4 of those cards. Even if I have a fear card, I'm going to have to advance to the Ottomans. During the ANZAC phase, you have to play one of your cards. You can play the effects of the card, or you can use it for an operation cost, like advancing. There's always the text on the card, like this one says, ANZAC deal a hit, but that wouldn't be any use yet because there's no Ottomans. So I'd probably use it for the operation of either advancing, rolling the die, and trying to advance. Rally, choose a terrain card without Ottoman units on or the beach, roll a die, and on a greater than 2, when a nerve counter rallies. So I can rally here, or if there are no Ottoman units here, I could just choose to play a card and rally. So I don't get, but let's say I rolled a 5. I could rally this guy, and then if I had rolled a 6, I could roll again. And it's not greater than 2, so I wouldn't get to rally that guy. So basically, either play the card for what it says on it, or you can advance. That's rolling the die and comparing that to the cost of the card as you flip it over, or if it's already revealed, and subtracting that number from the die, or rally, where you get to de-stress your guys. Rallying is an important part of the game. Final thoughts on this game. I think that it is a solid little solitaire game for what it is. It's a 15 to 20 minute solitaire game. It's on Kickstarter right now. They've already funded. I wish there would have been, maybe not stretch goals, but just in the final production copy, that there would have been a little bit more in terms of terrain variability and the decks for the Ottoman and the ANZAC cards. It's nice to see some variability and have some different choices, and maybe have some choices of like, well, I don't want this in my hand. Here's something I could do to ditch this card so that I could bring something else. Like you saw in the video for setup, the fact that I got 2 fear cards right away really limited my ability to play some things I might want to do, because it just effectively skips over my turns. So I only had 2 turns, and being in the beginning of the game, that's not a big deal. But later on, when I have maybe lost some units, that can be a big deal. And I had that kind of experience when playing this. I got to play through this a few times. Again, this is a prototype copy. This is not the final product. So I can't comment on the components and all that. But did I have a good experience? Did I enjoy this? Yes, I've backed a few games like this on Kickstarter. In fact, the one that comes to mind right now is Sans Allies without allies. That nice little solitaire card game sets up quick and similar price point to this. I really enjoy that one. I think that this will probably hold up, although the replayability is a little bit less clear for me on this one. So do I like it? Do I like the theme? Yes. I would like to see maybe a little bit more artwork. The artwork's not bad. I like it. But it would be great to see a little bit more there. I really hope that the colors are nice and vibrant and full on the final finished form. But maybe we'll get to comment on that when it finally comes out. But good job, Joe, on your first game, landing Gallipoli 1915 by Joe Schmidt and Catastrophe Games. I do enjoy it, and I hope it does well. We'll catch you later.